Hey everyone! I was trying to give out some points there, and Mubot was still in the other stream, so let me give out those points. Got Michaela helping out, William asking questions, great work. It was just a misspelling of finance, and that looks to do it. I think that should fix up your code right there. What questions are there? Trace, good to see you here. Michaela, William, good to see you here. I went and got some coffee. What questions are there? It's your time to ask questions. I got all the coffee. I need to, how long? Probably lower the, it is right there. Can we finish number 7? Sure. Go take a question. 4G and H. Yeah. I still don't have 19. Let me look at Williams first. William has a code right here. Let's go take William's code and we'll fix it up. And then we'll look at number 7. Then we'll hop over to 4. So let's go take a look at the code. Okay. So we're in the assignment right here. Let's scroll on down. Got that. You go away. Good. We're in the preview mode right now. I think it's something I've started using. Oh, now we're in the preview mode. Preview mode right here lets you look at it from more of a like word editing standpoint. So you could actually like do it like Microsoft Word, where you bold stuff, you underline stuff, or apparently underline doesn't work. Now you can underline stuff. You don't need to do that, but you can. So with down here, let's look at the code. And here's my code right here that is working. We're going to take William's code right here. It doesn't have spaces. This code right here, subset, blah, 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 blah. We need to store it into something. Let's call sub2. And sub2, it's mad about something. Oh, I put an underscore. I did it again. And sub2, there's not a closure on this. When you go to the end of parentheses, it'll show you what it's closing on. So you see how this is closing right here. So if I put another parentheses, it's showing me that it closes the function. So notice how when you put a parentheses on something, if you're clicked on it, it'll show you what it closes on. So you can click on this and it shows you that it closes there. You can click here and it shows you it closes there. Let's see what sub2 becomes. And sub2 becomes, it says it's mad. It's mad about something. It says unexpected symbol. Da, 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 da. And so don't worry. I want to ask this. What do we code in? Because there seems to be some errors. I'm going to have to break it apart to find the error. What do we code in to make sure, and don't worry, it just happens, but what do we do to make sure we don't have errors? Don't worry, don't worry. I'm not being like, what do we do to make sure we don't have errors? But what do we do to make sure we don't have errors? How do you go to preview mode? It should be here in the top right corner. Taylor, you got it. We'll be doing that here soon. Little bits right there. Little bits. Coding in them little bits. So we're going to find out what this error is. Where's the... Oh, right here, I think it is. It's the equals. Okay, that worked. Okay, we got 477, which means we're too restrictive right here. So somehow we're being too restrictive. I think it's this... Oh, it's this finance. That's got it, William. Is this working right now, William? I don't know why you have 1907 over 80. Double check. But is that working there, William? We kind of went here. I'll show you. I think I can backwards. I think I can forwards work it then. So here's your code right here. This is the code in the chat. And then you see me going forward in time, just breaking it apart. And then I just put spaces there, but I also changed this from, I'll show you what I changed. I changed this from the equals to the equals. I think you had an equals there. So make sure to just have the equals because it's just saying that, I know it's weird. Why is it equals? It's just the way the select argument works. It's not doing a logical check. It's just selecting those. Yeah, it's confusing. Like, why is it not equals? Like, it's not doing a logical check. It's just saying select the ones equal to this. Yeah, that is confusing. I would say I could maybe sometimes think it's equals. One way to know that it's just equals is if you go into this argument and you type select and you autocomplete, you can see it has the equals. So they're going to do that for you right there. So autocomplete can really help sometimes with like the syntax. And it's just saying, oh yeah, it's what the argument is set to. That's why it's using equals. It's not doing a logical check. It's saying that the select argument is set to this. And that's how we can set what arguments are. So equals is a logical check. It's not doing a logical check. It's saying the select argument is this. So it's like storing into the select argument. A little confusing right there. Great questions. I think we have Michaela's question's next. But how are you doing, William? Everything working out now? Trace asked if we could finish this one off. So we'll go down here to B. We'll finish this one off. I'm feeling all right. Sorry, hopefully I'm not congested or anything. I got this. Feeling all right. Here we go. What fraction of these alumni in this subset are statistics majors? So now that we have this subset, so hopefully I think my chat's caught up good. How could I we've created the subset, so we could, if we're making our document look nice. We don't need to do this 3 times, but that would go up here. Okay, cool. And then we'll delete this off. We'll make our document. We'll pretend we're cleaning this up to turn in. How could I look at people's majors? So I want someone in the chat to tell me, how could I look at people's majors in this subset? Either subset works. How can I just look at people's majors? Like, write a code for me right now to just look at people's majors. I don't close. Let's look at that. Sub is the data frame. Equals is a logical check. Statistics. Did I spell it right? I should know how to spell statistics. This might actually work. I wouldn't suggest it, but this might work, and it's really close. This is one way of doing it, and it kind of works. And I like where Taylor's going with this. I like where Taylor's going. Let's go with sub degree major equals statistics, okay? We're getting the same sort of result here, right here with trues and falses. So what do you think we could do with this right here? We'll see a few different ways of doing this. So both of these are kind of returning similar results, trues and falses. This is looking through the whole data frame. Now we have to watch out because maybe there's like a collateral here. So this one could return the wrong answer for a different data frame if we want to know what people majored in statistics, but then there's also like a variable collateral. So although I think that's going to get us the right answer when we then do an additional thing here, I wouldn't use this code because it's looking through the whole data frame to find out if any of the values in the data frame are equal to this. And you see we're only getting the trues here in the degree major column. So I wouldn't use this. I would use this one right here to then do our next step, which is going to be to find out how many there are. What can we do to trues and falses because they're ones and zeros? So because trues and falses are ones and zeros, what could you do to these? And you're so close because trues and falses are ones and zeros. Trues and falses are ones and zeros. And I'll show you another way, which is quicker. Trues and falses are ones and zeros. And it wants to know how many, right? Oh, a fraction. Oh, we can sum them, but since it wants a fraction, so we could do this. Here's the long way. The long way is going to be to do sum them, which we can get the sum of that. We should get the same answer here if we do sum, because it's just going to tell us all the trues. Same answer. And we could divide by the length of the subset, and that's going to tell us the percent right there. And oh no, I need to do n row. And that was divided by the number of columns. I was like, something's weird. It should do a percent. And so that is the fraction right there. But we could also just take and do the mean of the vector. One more way, we could go here and make a table of degree grad major and then just divide, oh, yeah. Okay, drop levels. Does it tell us to drop levels? Sub, store into sub. And now let's make a table. Drop levels drops off unused levels because the levels have nothing in them. So we're dropping the unused levels. And now let's divide by the number of rows. And the number of rows are going to be I can't even think. Or we could do the sum of the table. So we could take the table, do this, and then divide by the sum of the table, which is how many observations are in the table. There we go. Oops. And it's the same answer as we're getting right here. So this is the answer right here, the fraction, and then we would just report that. And you could do additional things if you wanted. I guess this turned into a more complicated way. The third observation in that. Or you could ask for statistics. So this is a named position. Just once again, there's about 10 different ways of doing things. But please notice, I want you to notice how I was doing this. How many times was I running code while I was doing this? As I was doing this, I was running code each time. I was running my drop levels. I was looking at my table. I was taking the table I created and dividing it by the sum. I was taking that and finding the third position. I was taking that same thing, but renaming the third position to statistics because that's what position 3 is named. So I'm not going to run the whole thing all at once, and I wasn't just doing it for that portion. I was doing it up here also, running individual parts where we're just coding in these little bits. I know it's like a joke to say little bits, but I'm coding in little bits right here where I'm going through creating vectors, doing logical checks, and then putting them inside of sum and finding out what they are. You should kind of think, what is each code doing as I write it? Don't write everything I've written here. You don't want to write this 10 times. This is just multiple ways. Is this making more sense? Do people feel more comfortable, I hope, about how to code one of these? You only need one of these answers right here. I should make rewards for whoever can do it with the least amount of characters. Like, code it with the least characters. This way right here looks to be the least amount of characters. You couldn't do the mean of this then, because that's going to get, yeah. Is that the same answer? I would not suggest doing that way. That is not... It gets you the same answer, but it just... Theoretically, it's not good. Theoretically, that's not a good way of solving for it. It's just that we had 4 times as many observations. So, but we're lucky we got the right answer because theoretically we're not doing the right stuff right there. But multiplying by 4. That's not theoretically. It's just the way the data was. And so we don't want to do things that are specific to this data. Don't do what I just did right there. Define a data frame called sort sub. That is, and so this is what we're talking about with the ordered. So we want to order the data frame on the lifetime gift to UT. Largest in the first row, smallest in the last row, print to the screen, rows 3 through 6 of sort sub. Okay, so we want to sort the data frame. Now you would think you would use sorted. So for this I have... So for the for 4H, awesome. We'll do that here in a second. I think Trace might have it. Trace might have it right here, and then we'll do Taylor. That might be right, Taylor. Let me look at your code real quick. 4H, I have the mean of alumni. Yeah, it looks, if the question is asking what % of people have donated between these amounts inclusive to that, is that what the question's asking for? I'm going to take a quick glance at 4H. Watch this. I'm going to go to 4H really quick. If it's asking what % of people have donated between these amounts inclusive. Yep. Excellent work right there. Great job. Taylor. Not 100 points. 20 points. We're going to have 20 points these days. We'll go more towards the end for myself. Taylor, that looks to be correct. Excellent job working on that one right there. And you notice as I'm reading through your code, I'm like, okay, you're finding a % with the mean, and then you're doing alumni values between this and this. So yeah, they have to meet the condition, be between those two values, and it could include those values. And you're finding out the % of observations that are logically equal to those conditions. So great job. Excellent work. I think you've got it. Okay. So let's break down the code right here. It looks more complicated than it is. We've got the ordered function. Let's look at the ordered function. The way the ordered function works is it's going to tell us the order, as in like what is the highest and what is the lowest for a vector right here. So we've got the sub lifetime gift to UT, which is just a vector of lifetime gifts to UT. You notice this one right here is a very large number. So let's look at what that one appears as. That very large number, where did it go? Is it this one? No, it can't be. Is it really? Really? So that is value 762 going backwards. So 762 is now right here. And so we should see 761 right before it. Yeah, it's also a larger value. And it should be that this one is a little lower, right? So 762, right? 762. And yeah. So we're seeing the order to the vector on the order it will report it in. Oh, no. My brain broke. Okay. So the way this works with decreasing equals true. Decreasing equals true. Let's go to this vector. Ordered is always such a fun thing. And let's take a look at value 69. Value 69 is this. Value 114 is this. What are you noticing about these values right here as I report them? And this is the order in which it will report them. What are you noticing about these values as I go through? Since we did order this right here, it's going to order it. And then we did decreasing equals true. This was the whattest value. Value in spot 69 is the whattest value. So the value in position 69 is the whattest value. And it's going to report that row first. It's going to report, because we've got this here in the row space. This is all the row space. Just what rows are we reporting? We're doing all the columns. The first row it's reporting is row 69, because row 69 is the largest. Does that make sense right here? Like, if we look at the observation in row 69, that is the largest observation. And so it's reporting that one first. And then it's reporting row 114 because that's the second largest. Then row, you might say, are these the second largest? They are the largest, second largest, third largest right here. So with the ordered, it's giving us the positions. The ordered is giving us the positions of the highest to lowest, and it's creating just a vector of the order of highest to lowest. So you can see right here, I didn't run the full thing. You can see right here the ordered values, and then we are returning the decreasing highest to lowest. So these are just the rows we are returning, and then we are going to take those rows from the sub data frame, and you can see right here, it is going down in the decreasing order. So you can see at the very start, the very first row we obtain is the row right here, then the row right here, and these are the values you were seeing with the first, second, third highest. So then we're just simply taking this and storing it right here, and it wants now just, what was it, rows 3 through 6? 3 through 6? How am I going to write that right here? Help me out in chat as I drink coffee. How am I going to take rows 3 through 6 of this? There's quite a few ways. You could do ridiculous stuff. I don't think we should, but how are we going to take rows 3 through 6 of this? We've already made our sort sub. And we just need to go to the row space right here. Boom, right there. You could, it's much longer to do this. That's, whoa, two-dimensional. Two-dimensional, put that comma. You need the comma for the column space right there. Saying to return all the columns, much quicker to do that. You could do 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, it's, I'd do 3 through 6. You could do ridiculous things. Like, here's, can I do this? I wonder if I could. Minus concatenate 1, 2, 7, colon. Someone's gonna like do this now. Unexpected comma. Oh, I didn't put a concatenate. I said it, I just didn't write it. There you go. That's row 3, 4, 5, 6. That's about the most ridiculous way I could do this right here. Don't do that. Don't be like Brian. Be a normal, logical person who simply returns row 1 through 6, who doesn't go through, I mean, I guess you could say n row of sort sub. There you go. Because if I don't want to find the max value, you could go right here to, I don't know. Don't do this. Don't do that. There's the answer right here in the much more logical way of writing it. Just, showing that we can remove things. So this is saying, return to me everything but the rows of this and this. We went there to the max row, which is 768. So don't return rows 1 through 2, and don't return rows 7 through the max row. So we're just literally returning this. Same sort of code, same sort of thing. Let's hop back to space. What was the next question? Don't be like Brian. Don't be like Brian. Don't do the crazy things. It's just fun to see what nonsense we can do, though. So what questions are there right now? I saw a few in the chat, but put your question in the chat. We'll do it next. It's kind of an open floor. There's a lot of questions to start there. Question 7, done. Hopefully people, is anyone almost done with the assignment? Pretty far in the assignment? There's a free 20 points on the assignment. Anyone pretty far in the assignment? Pretty close to done? How do people feel? When someone said it took them 2 hours a day, I was like, 2 hours? I was like, wow. And then I'm glad people were like, yeah, that's not a common thing. We got here 4G. Great job, Michaela. And I hope this has helped a lot going through this, practicing and learning how to code. We'll hop over to 4G. I don't expect this to take 2 hours. I expect 5, maybe. 5. Taylor, great work. 5 hours is, I would say, what I'd expect. It's a good bit of work. It's a good bit of work. The assignments get easier. Let's go over to 4G. Let's do this. How many rows have values of lifetime values greater than $1,000 and an area code that is 865? Some Knoxville, some VOL right there. So we are going to do 2 logical checks right here. Let's put this right here and get our 2 logical checks. If I knew how to do a hashtag. With the 2 logical checks, I want you to just think about your first logical check. Okay, I want you to write the first logical check, and I'll drop something in the chat right here. So lifetime gift. Remember, use your autocomplete. Awesome stuff. So I want you to write your first logical check right here. Which there's some quicker ways of doing this. Write your first logical check for, just find out if a row has a lifetime value of gift to UT, lifetime gift to UT, greater than $1 million. $1 million. Some old references right there. Write that first logical check to see that. How do we find if something has a lifetime gift to UT value greater than $1 million? Just one logical check to start. One logical check to go. How do we check to see if it's greater than that? What will we code? How do we code that? Let's throw some 20 points. Everyone here is practicing coding, getting it down. Yeah, that would work right there. Trace has got some good stuff. I'll show you what Trace is doing. I'll show you what I'm doing. Trace is going to the data frame, calling the vector name or the column name, and then checking the million. I like the parentheses. That's what I would do too. We can do some checks on this. There's a cool function that I haven't shown much. I would do, the way I'd do it, I'm going to do this. I'm going to type 1E6, and that should be the 6 zeros represented right here in scientific notation. So what we could do is a function, I'm going to call mine X, and I'm going to call traces Y. I'm going to put a little music here, more music. Is that my favorite one? Yeah. So I've just got Trace's answer and my answer right here. So Trace did it one way, I did another way. There's a function called isIdentical. No, it's just called identical. So identical tells you if the 2 things are the same. And the answer is false. What? Oh, what we got going on right here? Is this not $1 million? What do we do, Trace? What do we do? Who sees the error? Because I don't currently see it. Should this be a 5? No. We got an error. We got to find it. 2814. 2814. Wait. I must not have saved it. That confused me. I think I just didn't save it. I was like, I do not see where these codes are different. So these are identical. So Trace and I have come up with 2 separate answers right here. Mine is just abbreviating. So Trace called the column a different way. I called it by using the vector inside the data frame. Trace stayed with the data frame and used the vector or the column name. Does that make sense here as we differentiate? Trace also put his in parentheses. I'm going to throw mine in parentheses because I do love some parentheses. We both did greater than this. This is the way I'd probably code it right here. Yeah, I'd probably throw some parentheses. That's good stuff right there. Does that make sense, Trace, to see your way and my way? This is just the same thing, but in scientific notation. If you just think about how many zeros there are, you can just add those zeros by doing E6. You don't have to do that, but it's just the same thing. You can't put the commas right here, though. I've seen people try to do this, and that's going to cause an error because it's thinking you're putting different arguments, and it's going to be like, wait, what is the function? What are the arguments? And that's where the error is going to occur. So I've seen people put commas, and I'm like, you can't do that. It's going to get mad at you. So, yeah, so just 2 great ways of doing this right here. Now we just want that they have an area code that is this. Now I'm going to tell you this. Let's change the wording right here, is logically equal to this. So how are we going to do this right here? How are we going to write area code equal to this? So this is the first part right here, and this was just a check. Remember, don't write down everything I'm writing down. You'll probably see the final answer here in a moment. How are we going to find an area code out of all these area codes that is logically equal to this? How are we going to get an area code that is logically equal? You can just put the first part of it. As long as you know the connector in here, you're pretty good. If you think about what logically equals means, great job right there. And Trace, I love it, Trace. I love that you're doing slightly different ways because it really helps us see. And great job, Taylor. Excellent work too. It really helps us see the two different ways. Here, I'll put my way there. And Trace's way goes on top this time. My way goes down here. Both ways are perfectly fine. And we could check once again that they're the same, but they're going to be the same right here. We could just store as X and Y again, and we should get that both of these are the same. This just lets us see if they're identical objects inside of R. I must have not hit that, and the answer is they are identical. So that just shows here, which we're just doing little checks to see that Trace and I are getting the exact same vectors, exact same procedures being done. So this Trace's code reads, go to the alumni data set, return all the rows, but only go to the vector area code and check to see if those values are equal to 865. My code reads, go to the vector area code inside of the alumni data frame and return and logically check to see if those values are 865. We get a vector of trues and falses right here. This is an NA, which means it can't do a logical check on it. There just does not exist a value to be checked. So if we check 81, 80, 81, 82, 83, area code 983, that should be an NA area code. That person did not give an area code, hence why it cannot be checked. NA is a logical, as in there is nothing to check there. So they did not give an area code, so we can't check to see if it is. It's not true nor false. It just does not have it cannot be assessed for its truthness value because there's nothing to assess. Pretty interesting stuff right there. But now all we need to do is just see if people meet both these conditions. How are we going to see if people meet both these conditions right here? How are we going to see if people meet both these conditions? Just one symbol in the chat. I'll know you know what I'm talking about right here. How are we going to see that they have an alumni lifetime gift to UT greater than 1 million and they're from the 865 area codes? Think about what this is doing. This is identifying high donators in the Knoxville area code. Great job right there, Trace. This is identifying people who have donated large amounts, and all these trues and falses are just ones and zeros. So all I'm going to do right here, if I want to know how many there are, is I'm just going around it and putting some. And I want to show, we got a problem. Does anyone know we need an additional argument right now? This is why you always run your code to see what answers you get. And I should have realized we would have this because we saw it earlier. We saw some of the issues with the vector, with this right here. We need an additional argument, so I might be putting in the chat as I speak. We need NA.remove equals true. If you have NAs in your vector, you have to remove them to sum them, to take the mean, take the median. You have to do that. So how many rows? Yep. And this should do it right here. Remember, always code it in those little bits. That's how we get it. So I can't remember whose question that was, but hopefully it makes more sense that we found the donors who have a lifetime gift greater than this. We also found the donors who are in the 865 area code. Then we put it together so they're both here. You're welcome, Michaela. Great work. And that's the whole point of working on these together is like, okay, it's just these little tasks. We're doing like 4 things, and then we're joining it all together to find out how many. Great job. Oh, let's look at Trace's way right here. Yeah, he's doing the length witch. I'll explain what Trace has done here. Great job, Trace. Trace, that's 20 points right there. Did I just delete the whole thing? There we go. Let me throw some points in the chat. Trace, thank you so much. Trace is finding out the positions. I'll point the difference here. In Trace's code, Trace is doing the exact same logical checks in here. And then Trace is finding out the positions of the individuals who meet these conditions. So these are the donor. I'll disappear for a second. Donor 3223, which could be very important because we could actually use this vector right here. Watch this. We could call Knoxville donors, and I could go here to alumni, and using what Trace has right here. Sorry, I don't want to keep blinking up at the top. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go right here and call this X for the moment. And these are just the rows that we returned right here. So those are the rows. And then I only want those rows. And guess what? Knoxville Donors is now a I'm just saying here, if you are wondering, you are actually working with real data right here. You're working with data from the alumni office. And I just want you to look at this. President, CEO, CEO and president, CEO, founder, chairman. You can look at all these information right here, and how much they've been donating and when they graduated, like in 1952. Cool French. That's interesting right there. And they are like founders of companies. So you're actually working with real data with the alumni data set, which is one thing we'd love to do is we love to work with real data, not some fake made up data. But you're looking at a lot of, I mean, you got any guesses right here? I'm not saying anything, but, and the top donors to UT, the people who really helped out UT. So you're working with real data right here, just so you know. It's just, you know, I'm just saying. And so huge thank you to our top donors to UT. It's really, UT would not be the flagship university we are without the top donors. I truly mean that. And it's a huge thank you. So you're working with real data right here. And if you have any guesses about CEOs, presidents, founders, chairmen of companies, you know, going through here. Oh, that's non-UT degrees. Jim Masson, that's interesting. 1952, all that good stuff right here. Yeah. So much blank in the data set, though. So much blank. Well, good stuff. What question do we have next? Let's hop back here to space. Let's do this. Hop back over here. You probably know who we're talking about, so I just want to, you know, give a huge shout out to the Haslams because, you know, I teach in the Haslam College of Business, and you know, UT would not be where it's at without the donation, without our donors. I mean, we are the Haslam College of Business for a reason. Huge help. So put a question in the chat if you have it. But, you know, I've been at UT for 20 years right now, literally. Came to UT in 2001. And over the 20 years, I've seen the Haslam College of Business appear around, I think it was around 2010. 4C and 4J, you got it. So, you know, we've got Tickle College of Engineering. We got Ming Kao. So thank you to Ming Kao and all those things. Integrity issues, good question right there. Integrity issues just mean it doesn't make sense. We'll look at that here in a moment. Great question right there with 5D. We'll do 4C and 4J. Let's do 4C and 4J. We'll do 4C and then remind me to do 4J, and then we'll hop over to 5D and we'll talk about some integrity issues. Integrity issues just means you look at the data and you're like, what is going on with this? It's like it doesn't make sense, like the integrity of the data. Like we talk about messy data a lot. Let's hop over here. Let's take a look at 4C. Got some 4C right here. Question 4C says, print to the screen the gender code of the rows, da 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 da. So let's go ahead and make a vector of this right here. I'd like for you to take this and turn this into a vector for me. So go ahead and, yeah, print to screen just means display it. A lot of people use print. I'm just like, you don't have to use print. We'll print for you. We're going to go to gender code and print those. What I like to do is I always like to do things in little bits. So how am I going to turn that into a vector? Let's just say I'm interested in these values. How am I going to turn those into a vector? Just turn those into a vector right here. Turn those into a vector. How would I turn that right there into a vector? Yep. Great job, Taylor, right there. Sorry, I missed that comment. Taylor, you are correct. You should get 11. Yeah, and the length which I maybe should have gone more detail on what the code was. Alumni 12, gender code. I did this 5 times for all 5 values asked. But, yeah, that'd be a lot of work. So, Trace, we're going to improve that right here because I might be like, might give you the points and I might put a comment and be like, we can do this quicker. How about we concatenate the values we want and we make a vector of the values we want? So with what I put in the chat right there, I want you to turn that into a vector of values. So I love it. Everyone's doing the same way. Take the vectors I have in the chat right now. Take the numbers I have in the chat and turn that into a vector. Turn that, which is what I'm going to do on the screen here in a second. Turn those values into a vector, which what you did is all right. It's just a longer way. And someone could look at my code and be like, Brian, your ways are really long. I can show you quicker ways. And I'd be like, oh, show me. I want to learn. So nice job, Michaela, right there. You are right. We're just concatenating these into a vector. Stupid internet putting that dot right there. So what do you think we're going to do right now? I like this song. What do you think we're going to do right now? We want to return the gender code, and there's a few ways of doing this. I like what Trace is doing. Let me do this. I'm gonna do this though. I'm gonna go here to alumni, and I'm gonna go to the vector gender code. I like this because it has the autocomplete. There we go. What? Did I delete gender code? Oh, I did. Remember class today? I deleted it. I nulled it out if you remember. I was like, look, did I do that? There it is. I ran all chunks above. If you're wondering what I did really quickly, all chunks above runs every chunk. You can run current chunk settings. Chunks are where the R code goes. So this is the settings for this chunk, like how R will handle this chunk right here. And then this runs every single chunk above, and there was a load data, so I ran every chunk above, so the data would be loaded. And this is play current chunk, which will run all code in this chunk. So run all chunks above, very useful if you have a load data, and I reloaded the data. So what do you think I'm going to do right here now? I want only to return those rows. So here I'll kind of make this space. What do you think I'm going to do now that I've created a vector with names of rows I want to return, or values of rows I want to return? Who knows where I'm going to go with this right here, which is going to be a really easy way to only return those rows. Does it say it wants the rows? Let me double check the question. The values. Okay, good. It only wants the values. We're not returning the rows. We're just returning. Oh, and I've got 2 dimensions. So Trace, it is correct. Let me show Trace's way versus my way. I did 2 dimensions by accident. I'm using a vector right now, which is 1-dimensional. So this is a 1-dimensional object, so I do not put a comma, or else I've gone to 2 dimensions. So do not put a comma. And I think Taylor's pointing out the second way. And are we doing area code, or are we doing gender code, I think? We're doing gender code, right? Yes, gender code. So going off of what Trace has, I want you put it in the chat. I want you to change your code right here. Think about how my code looks, and I want you to think about how your code would look. So just take a second right here, because Taylor's basically got it. Which you could just literally take this vector and put it inside of there. This is a fine way of doing it too. Like that works right there. Or like since we already have it coded, you could do that and return the same answer. How is that looking better right there? Is that making sense? Here we're using the vector and going to the positions in the vector. Here we're going to the data frame, going to the rows of interest. Great job right there, Trace. Yep. And if you're using lowercase, it'll work. Mine's uppercase, which I guess technically it's not a data frame, so maybe I should be careful. My naming conventions aren't perfect, but is that making more sense right here? You could, returning all of them individually is a lot of work, but good stuff right there. Good stuff. Let's hop back here to space and do the next question in section 4. The next question in section 4 is 4J. I put these little breaks in here so I can mark the videos later. You'd be like, why didn't you just do 4J? I'm like, wait, give us a second. Get ready. Show that this shirt is getting green screen. Let's do this. Go over here to 4J. Let's do this. 4J says, print to the screen the possible values of the levels of degree campus. Oh, we got this. Okay, let's look at the degree 1 campus vector. I'm going to put some tasks in here. Task 1, look at degree 1 campus vector. Who knows how to do task 1? Look at degree 1 campus vector. Task 2. Show me the levels. Here's our little bits. So first thing I want you to do, I'll do the second part right here. I just want you to look at degree 1 campus vector. All I want to do, I guess there's quite a few ways to do this. All I want is just look at that vector. That's going to be like, hey, that's a vector. How are we going to look at that vector to start? I'll put it down here. Yep. Nice job, Trace, right there. Just going to look at that vector. Cool. That's a vector. And now I want to show me the levels of that vector. So what are we going to do? And you can highlight your code. Who knows what I'm going to put before this now? Just a 6-letter word. 6-letter word. And And we've done it. 6-letter word. You can actually see the answer right down here. This, you don't want to do this though, because yep. Levels. Boom. Got it. Good stuff right there, Taylor and Trace. And I'm trying to think who asked it. It was Trace who was asking it, and Trace is giving the answers right there. Is it making sense, Trace? Great job. When you break it apart into these little bits right here, I say little bits all the time, but hopefully it makes more sense when you think, okay, I should look at the vector, and I just want to get the levels of the vector, and here's the possible levels. I think, it's hard to. Sometimes it's like when you speak Spanish and you're like, what is that word I'm thinking of? Like, I know what I want to say, but I just can't do it. Yeah, it's always trying to do too much. Yeah, no, don't worry, Trace. And great job. Because you can get right up to it and be like, I know it, and it just won't go. Can't figure it out. I think we're gonna do question 5 next. Let's do 5D. Let's hop back over here. I love the music. It makes me chill. It's nice, relaxing. People always be like, keep it low, keep it chill. 5D. What's 5D say? I'm gonna pull up 5D in the background right here while we talk and relax. 5D says, what integrity issues? I know, right? It's just so simple. You just want to see the levels? You sure? Yep. Important to do. You could say how many levels are there, and you could look at the length of the vector. So the question could be like, how many levels are there? You could do the length of the vector. Could say like, which level's the UT? You could do equals, which, all these different things. Lots of different ways to ask questions. So let's go take a look at 5D. Let's do it. And great job, Taylor. Excellent work right there. Here we go. So we've got a column with some integrity issues. Is anyone here in a fraternity or sorority? Feel free to give shout outs to. I don't know if you can name it or I don't know. I don't know what you can or can't do. I don't understand the world. Do you know my brother was in was he in Phi Kappa Tau? I think my brother was in Phi Kappa Tau. I don't remember. I'd have to ask him. So, let's go take a look. Let's go take a look at what fraternity sororities people are in. At the start of this one, you are naming a column Greek. You are going, and this is a column that does not exist. It might exist because I made it earlier, but yours and mine right now do not show up Greek. By naming to a place that does not exist, you actually write to it. So when you're writing to Greek right here, you're creating, alumna does not exist, alumna. There we go. We have now written to it. You can see, and I'll run every chunk above. What's it wanting? Okay. You can see right here, there's 79 variables. When I run this, it's actually going to create another variable at the end of this, and we now have 80 variables. So what do I mean by that? At the very end of this data frame, let's not view it that way. At the very end of this data frame, the 80th variable is now the Greek variable. I have added on a vector to the data frame by using the left arrow and storing into something that does not exist. I could go Greek 2, which I'm just creating more Greeks. That's going to get appended onto the end of the data frame. It's just a copy of fraternity sorority, which was copied into Greek, and we also copied into Greek 2. Maybe we don't want Greek 2. Greek 2 can go away, and now Greek 2 is gone. We'll just reverse the code right here so we can keep some good code on the screen. Alumni should have auto-completed that, and fraternity sorority. There we go. And overwrites, but don't even matter. Okay, so let's look at this column and just kind of think about it. Now, you have to be careful. Here's what you don't want to do. Now, this will let us see it. Let's go here to Greek. And you don't want to turn this in like this. First off, just flatly, there's a level inside of here that's what? Let's go to the levels vector. This is not too much output. I won't take off if you look at the levels vector. What do you notice first about where people reported their Greek life? What do you notice? And I don't like that. This is not good. What do you notice first about where people reported their Greek life? This right here, which I wouldn't. That's not good. That's like a first integrity issue. Like, why are you doing that? That's not how we report things. It's not how we do. We don't do statistics down here like this. Not like that. It's blank, and it probably means someone is not in Greek life. So what we probably want to do is go to position 1. You don't have to do this kind of stuff. This is how we clean up data. And we'd go right here to position 1. We'd overwrite not Greek. Now, it's actually going to change, I believe, the order of that to where It might still be first because we've got all the UT affiliated stuff. You don't have to do this, what I'm doing right here. I mean, just, you don't need to. But you notice I redid it instead of it being a blank, like a blank with nothing in it, not missing this, nothing, but I've called it not Greek. So that's much better right there. That's fixing one of the integrity issues where now it's pretty obvious this person is not Greek. But what do you start to notice right here? And what do you notice right here? That's weird. I'm going to go away and look at it a little more. What the heck in the world? I mean, I'm just like, okay, what's going on? What does this mean? UTK, Phi Gamma Delta, UTK, Phi Gamma Delta. This is what a person told us. You say, what Greek life are you in? Someone says, I am in Kappa Delta. What Greek life are you in? I am in Farmhouse. What Greek life are you in? I'm in Delta Sigma Theta, Delta Sigma Theta. And it started, it's like an R code thing with a new line. And this is not multiple people's answers. This is one person's answer. And what's really confusing is especially this right here. Multiple entries for one person's response. I mean, that's a huge issue right here. So this is what somebody reported. This is not multiple people. This is a donor. Maybe they mean that they are a fourth year Kappa Sigma, like they're a fourth generation in it. Maybe they mean that they were in it for 4 years. I do not know what this means, but when we go to this donor, their response for what fraternity sorority are you in is Kappa Sigma, Kappa Sigma, Kappa Sigma, Kappa Sigma. And we're just like, okay, how is that different from Kappa Sigma, Kappa Sigma? How's that different from Kappa Sigma? I do not understand why we have repeat entries. Now, this person you might say was in 2. That makes sense. Like this person was in Phi Gamma Delta, Phi Beta Sigma. And you might see other ones that switch. Here's another one that switched. Pi Kappa Phi Alpha Tau Omega. That makes sense. Maybe they were in 2, but then I don't understand why this right here, especially if you think if it was years, we would see a lot more repeating for multiple things. Like a lot of these would have multiples, but I don't understand that. So that's a huge integrity issue. And really what you have to do to look at integrity issues is you just have to look at the data. And it's like, well, what integrity issues could there be? Sky's the limit. When you ask what integrity issues could there be, you're asking what ways can people mess up data? And the answer is infinite ways. So when you're looking for integrity issues, you're just asking, does it make sense? Is this messy data? Which is one of the first things we talked about. Like data can be messy. People can enter things in improperly. So you just make a comment on write a few sentences, make it clear. Like how would you communicate to somebody the issues with this data set? Like think about the questions you would ask to somebody. Like you'd be like, so we're to assume that if you put blanks right here, if you put a blank, that means they're not in Greek life. Maybe this is a data set of people who are in Greek life, but the people who put blank didn't want to tell you what Greek life they're in. So maybe when I put not Greek there, that's a problem. I would maybe use this code right here. You could also show, probably the worst is level 37. If I'm going to point someone directly to a problem, I'm going to go to level 37 and I'm going to display that right there. Like that shows the integrity issue. I would put a little bit of code. Do you notice how I went straight to level 37? Once again, make sure to not turn in something with just excessive amount of code. You will lose points. But I'm going straight to line 37, and I just went to position brackets and pulled line 37. That's now element 1 because I returned a vector of length 1 with the first element, but the element is element 37 from the original levels vector. And you don't have to recode and stuff like I did. You could also return, if you're talking about the two things I talked about, you could return element 1 and element 37 of the vector, and then yours should be blank in this. Could I do one and say something about, yeah. You could return both of these right here, and yours will be blank. You don't have to recode it. Or you could say, if you recoded it like me, you could be like, I assumed that this meant that people were not Greek. They put a blank right here, so I had to change this. Like what would you communicate to people about what's messy about this data? I mean, you could be super crazy and go through and get all the ones that have, craziness in it and be like, okay, well, also 52. So you could append that onto here. And what you notice with this is we are seeing some of the techniques we were using just a moment ago up here in this previous question, where we were taking multiple rows, where it's at, hold on, here it is right here. We were doing this in a previous question a moment ago, where we were asking for multiple rows to be returned by putting in a vector. And now down here, we're doing the same thing. taking from the levels vector multiple observations out of it by concatenating them together. So good practice. More questions. We got more time. We got more questions. Hopping over here to the main screen. Let's do it. Great work. So do we type outside the chunk for it? If you type outside, yep, it'll show up in the Word document. Great answer right there. So I want to point this out. Hopefully I'll tag this part of the video correctly. What you'll notice right here is I'm in this format right here. I'm in the preview format, I think. I don't know what it's called. What's it called? Switch to source editor. And then this is switch to markdown editor. So I'm in the markdown editor. It's kind of a new feature. And with the markdown editor, you can actually see the Word document. So you could just go straight to here and be like, in 5D, you could go right here and say, I wish it wouldn't make that. The integrity issues. I don't know how to spell integrity. There's spell check. Spell check's a rather new thing instead of our markdown. Oh, so nice. If you put comments, that'd be fine too. Can't you do it with the quote? You could. You could. I'd say for reports, I would don't worry about massively changing stuff, but in the future I might put it in the R markdown portion. Hence that, because that's what's for the markdown portions for, is for like non-code related or just like wanting to write stuff out like a Word document. Because everything right here is just like Word document stuff. So if you put it in the chunk, it's fine. I'd say for later on assignments, don't put it in the chunk. I'm not gonna take points though. Answers are answers. I like stuff to look nice and neat. If I ever miss your answer, please tell me. Like if I somehow miss a comment where you put an answer, just tell me. Be like, hey Brian, you didn't give me points for this, and I put the answer. I'd be like, oh, sorry about that. I didn't see your answer. I like to bold answers and stuff, and then the grader's like, oh, there's the answer right there. But yeah, that's how we get our answers. Make sure it's clear. You could. I wouldn't prefer this. Here we're down here in this. You could put it right here. The integrity. You could. I guess you could print. So you could do that right there. Frequency table in number 6. Let's do that. Let's head over there. Here we go. Drink some coffee. Frequency table. Frequency table is going to show you the counts of the observations. So let's go look at that frequency table. Rename gender code to gender. Rename its levels to males and females unknown. Let's go take a look at this. Okay, here we go. So a frequency table is just a table where a relative frequency table has percentages. And so when we do a frequency table, it's just going to show us the counts of the observations in the table. So let's rename the gender code column to gender. To do this, you need to go here to names of alumni. And the way that we're supposed to do it, I'll do it the right way. Don't want Dr. Petrie to see this and be like, Brian, you're doing it the wrong way. Is we want to go here to this, and that's a logical check. This is the right way, and there's the true. We want to go here to which is going to get us the position of it. And then we want to go to the names vector and go to that position. Ooh, what did I do wrong? Oh, wait, is this not? There's that. Oh, what am I doing? We want to go to the names vector, names of alumni. And we want to go to the position that we found, and we want to overwrite it with gender. Okay. So that's the, yeah, and then let me grab Chase's answer. I did it the super crazy correct way that makes sure you do it, and then Trace has the very quick and simple way, which could cause, don't worry, you're like, how could it cause errors? Like, how do we know that it's the first column? How do we know the first column is named it? Everything I've written right here, who can put in the chat for me everything I've written right here? What does it return? If you look at Trace's code versus my code, the whole code I've written right here returns what? Everything I've written right there, which does a logical check of the names of alumni to see if they're gender code, and then returns the position of what meets the logical check of names equals to gender code. All of this right here just returns what? Which we can see visually the answer to, and we can see how Trace got that. Visual, what does this return? Every bit of code I've written right here, and you can, if you look at Trace's code, everything I've written just returns what? This whole code right here just returns what? What is that? All that crazy code I got right there is just to find the number what? And so what if I run this? What will, you are correct? That's what it will return. It will return the position of where gender code is at. So what will it return? What will it return? What will it return? Like running this would just return what? Like if I run this code, which I've highlighted, it's going to find the position of the gender code. So it's going to do a logical check to see the names of the gender vector if it's equal to gender code, and then it's going to return the position of things that meet the condition with the which. And all of this here is just going to return the number what? 1. And that's what Trace says. If you see our codes, which we just have a few extra spaces right here, it's the same code. It's the exact same code. To make it even clearer, I'll delete my spaces. And then you see, if I go right here and take all this code right here that I have, it's just doing the exact same thing Trace's code is doing. It's just a little safer. So just my code, Trace's code, my code, Trace's code. Does the same thing. It's just going to make sure you don't select the wrong column by doing a search through. Like, let's say you have a big data set, and I'm like, actually, I want to rename this column. Farzan, good to see you right here. So excellent work right there. So I think I've started over the MuBox. Let's throw out some points right here. I always reset them after like certain amounts of time. So Farzan, get some points right there. You see Farzan is at the Stat Nation Brian tier level. Excellent work there, Farzan. So we are rewriting it, and let's go right here. Either one of these work. That's just, I'll keep them both on the screen. We've got the complicated way, the simple way. And now we want to make a frequency table. How are we going to turn this into a frequency table? Nothing too crazy right here. Nothing too crazy. How do we turn this into a frequency table? Nothing too crazy. I promise we're not doing anything absurd right here. Yep. Trace, excellent work. Trace, I know I keep asking this. I can't remember who's coded. Trace, have you ever coded before? And there we go. There's the frequency table. But, oh, we got to rename the names. We got to rename the names. We did this. We did this one in class. So we need to go to the levels of alumni, $gender, and you see you have female, male, unknown. I'm going to rename those female, male. I almost forgot this part. Please tell me if I ever forget something. There we go. Up, what are you doing? There we go. Great work. It helps to have coded before, but yeah, I've coded. Oh, Trace has done a bunch. Great job, Trace. And some machine learning. Well, excellent, excellent. If you ever have suggestions or see things, let me know. But I think a bunch of people are taking on to it. There's people in this class who have never coded who do great, and there's people who have coded who struggle. It does help to have some past experience. But Trace, if you could offer anyone advice on learning how to code, what would it be? And I can guess what it would be. But I want Trace, if people are watching this right now, they're feeling a little discouraged because they're like, I'm just having a hard time grasping it. And some people come in with a little bit of a head start because they already understand coding a little bit. What advice would you give to people with coding? What advice would you give? I'll let Trace give their advice right here, and then we'll see if there's any last questions. But I like to give my advice, but then I always want to hear from students a little. I'll give my advice and then listen to Trace's right here. I'd have to say, like, it's really practice. I don't know if Trace will say the same thing. You just have to, you have to get things wrong. You have to look at it and then be like, okay, what's going on here? But you have to practice. You have to get things wrong. You have to have your code not work. I would make sure that you give yourself enough time to do the assignments. Probably the most important thing in my opinion. Trace, 20 points right there. You really have to give yourself enough time. You can't start these things at 8 p.m. at night and be like, I'm going to burn through this. You're going to get stuck so you can understand the theory and the problem. Exactly. You could be right next to the answer and not know it sometimes. You're like, this is just so simple. What am I doing? And then you just need to swing by office hours and ask questions. We'll keep doing office hours. We're going to keep having questions. This is probably one of the toughest parts of the class. So people might be freaking out right now, but I think it does get easier. Hair's so short. I'm not used to it. But you got this. And give yourself time. Trace, great advice right there. Give yourself time. This is not the class where you want to start the assignments 8, 9 p.m. at night. Because the assignments could take 3-4 hours. But sometimes it takes 3-4 hours where you work on it in an hour and then you email a question. and then you come back to it. I've been lurking. Andrew March, so good to see you. But it gets harder before it gets easier. Yes, but my advice would be to find something you're passionate about. I think he messaged me on LinkedIn, right? I saw it, but then I've been just so busy. I taught many times them to do this. But my advice would be to find something you're passionate about. Okay, we're back now. Oh my gosh. Andrew, it broke the stream. Andrew, I totally agree. It said stream disconnected. We should be back right now. I just saw down on the bottom we disconnected for like 3 seconds. YouTube, what are you doing? It shows me when it disconnects. We're all good right here. CPU usage is at like 5%. But Andrew is totally right. I think, Andrew, you messaged me on LinkedIn. I need to message you back. I've just been so busy with Miniturm and everything. But I know I saw it. I was like, oh, I got to reply. Sorry. So I taught Miniturm, and I'm teaching 2 classes right now. Do you have time for... Yeah, Ben, sure. What's your question, Ben? Feel free to ask. Let me know. We'll hop back here space. Let's do it. I hit boss on. But no, I totally agree with Andrew's advice. Find something you're passionate about, whether it be sports, whether it be like stock market. I mean, it doesn't have to be sports, doesn't have to be stock markets. It could be video games. Anything you're passionate about. Analytics is there all the time. And Trace, we're going to be upping those max points to 10,000 with the 2.5. So keep going. The levels get harder and harder to get to. I'm still lost on number 7. Maybe it's not running on my... do you have your code right here, Ben? Throw your code in the chat, and then we'll look at it. Take your code and put it in the chat, and then we'll take a look at what the error is. So just take your code, put it in the chat, and let's take a look at number 7. I remember, do it in little bits right here. Always do it in little bits. So run each tiny little bit. We're going to debug the code, though, here. I think this is making the subset, right? So throw that code in the chat. You are allowed to send me code. You're allowed to, especially when I say, I'm having problems with number 7. Yeah, put in the chat. Just put your number 7 in the chat as it currently is, and then we'll debug it. So always code in little bits, though. So do it bit by bit by bit. Don't write the whole thing out. You want to run little bits of it and make sure it works bit by bit. So no worries. Yeah, my CEO used some of the data analysis in my email to a lot of higher ups of the DoD personnel, and a lot of it thanks to... Oh, thank you, Andrew, so much. Andrew, 20 points of some positivity right there. It's all a lot of the stuff is the basics. A lot of the stuff we learn in this class are the basics, just like the bread and butter. Looks like we got sub right here. This might be part of the code. Taking some subset. Okay, we'll hop over to the main screen, get the rest of the code. Let's take a look. Okay, so we got part of the code right here. And do you have the rest of it here, Ben? Drop the rest of it in. We'll take a look. So with what you have right here, okay, so let's look at the function as is. What we're going to do is we're going to put a space right here, and then we're going to put a space right here. Now, baby steps. Exactly, little bits. Code in. Little bits. So right now I'm going to close your function. We're going to make sure it works. So by closing the function, we can actually run it because we have an and right here, which is going to, you're basically leaving your function open because right here is where the function opens. We need to close the function. I think this should work. It says alumni not found. Oh, wait. Here it is. Here's part of the issue. This was alumni. So it needs to be alumni. How many letters do we type? We type 3 letters. 3 letters, and then let it autocomplete. And the autocomplete will then find the thing we're looking for. So always use the autocomplete. Huge help right there to make sure we spell everything correctly and also do the proper capitalization. Now the function should run. This is not the right subset yet, but we are subsetting now. Does that make sense? That might have been the whole issue. It might have been misspelled alumni. Sakia, good to see you. I made it to Knoxville. Looking forward to... Yes. I plan on... Ben's like, are you serious? Ben, thank you for... Bro. It's complete another bro moment right there. Bro. You serious? Missing alumni right there? Just a reversal of the letters? Sakia, that'd be so awesome. That's probably what was wrong. See if you can hit some Control-Z backwards. Yeah, when you type 3 letters, just make sure it auto-completes. Throw that in, and we are subsetting now. Check out from there. I know, isn't that... And here's the thing, Ben. You could be working on that for an hour. What's our rule? 5 minutes. You get that 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, message me. And I really hope to be in Knoxville. I want to do something with session shout-outs to... what is it called? the ice cream place downtown. I want to do something with them when I come back to Knoxville. Like I want to be like, if I give them $100, like could they possibly do half price ice cream for 30 customers or something? I don't know. I'd have to talk to them and be like, what deal could we do that we could do like a come out and get ice cream from, what is it called? Farms, right? Something Farms? I can't think of it. Like, you don't even know our name, bro. What are you talking about? For 7A, it says I have 0 rows. Can you put your code in the chat, Charles? We'll take a look. Put your code in the chat right here and we'll take a look. So we figured out the issue right here. Just drop your code in the chat and we'll take a look and we'll see what's going on. We'll debug it from here. This is not the answer right here, but run it in little bits to make sure it's running. So if you look, this is the answer you should obtain. Sub 2 currently has the answer, but sub 1 is working as we go through here and we find it. So if it says you have 0 rows, one of your conditions must be too restrictive. What is it called downtown? Okay, thank you so much. Let's go grab this. So all I'm going to do right here as we take the code is I'm going to break it apart so that it's easier to read. So I'm not really changing anything right here other than going like that's not part of code. I'm just making this condition on another line, or excuse me, argument. And then I'm going right here and making sub indents. Oh, this might be it right here. You had 1990, you had 1988. So 1988 might have been the issue. Check that. And I'm trying to, where'd it go? It might have been that you had 1988. Oh, really? I think I have to go back to here. There we go. It might have been 1988. Because that would cause a too restrictive condition. There it is. It is, you have 1988 instead of 1998. That should change it right there, Charles, and you should be good to go. Great job on that, Charles. It just was one number. It was 1988, needs to be 1998. You want degree grad years greater than or equal to 1992, degree grad years less than or equal to 1988. And that really goes to Trace. And great job, Ben and Charles. So Charles, you should be working now. And you notice I just broke apart the code to make it look a little nicer. This is your code. Just changing that right there. 20 points right there, Charles and Ben. Also, thank you for working on this early. Once again, you could be sitting at this at 10 p.m. at night being like, I've got 2 hours to go and this just won't run. It's giving me 0. You'd be like, I have no idea what's going on. You just be like, it's just not working. And there's just one number that's wrong. So I always like to break it into smaller bits right there so we can see what's going on. Always make sure to kind of run it in like each time. Like you'll notice how often I run my code. I'm always running just individual parts of it, checking what the code is doing. Any other last questions? Feel free to ask. Oh, we've done a lot today. We've done a bunch of good work. I might go and it's outside. Maybe I should. I don't know. I don't like to go out too early in the afternoon because I'm so pale. Get burned by the sun. Let's hop. We'll put on a little music. Hop back here to space. See what people have. You have more questions? Let me know. But Brian, can we talk about this? This is not working. But there's so many little errors that can occur. And once you're stuck, please email. Let me see. I might have things on Discord. Awesome. That worked for somebody. Hi, but I feel so much. Instructions one says net documents. No, see stories. Yep. Send someone a video right here. If you are ever stuck, just let me know. There's a lot of little things to learn, and it just takes time. Just time and practice. There we go. I equate this to learning piano, but you're not going to learn how to play piano overnight. You're not going to learn how to play piano in a month. It's going to take a good bit of time to learn how to play piano. It's going to take a little bit of time to learn how to code. Hey-oh, I had to run home to get on my desktop for the assignment. I don't want to prepare the question. Oh, no worries. Have you been through everything? I think most of it. Was there one you're really stuck on? Of course there's email, but yeah. Is there one you're like really wondering about, Preston? We can walk through it. Feel free to ask. Like, which one are you like, hey, Brian, I got no idea on this. Like, I don't want to be like, go look at the videos. Like, I'm here right now, definitely, we're just chilling out. So be like, hey, Brian, this one, it would really help me if you could just explain this, and we'll do an explanation of it. We'll talk through how to do it. So a lot of the answer, I like to put a lot of the answers out there. And obviously there might be some I don't work during office hours. But hopefully you can kind of extrapolate, or if you're super stuck, you can always just email. But we're still in office hours. I'm still here. So feel free to be like, hey, Brian, how do I do this problem? How do we work this problem? No, I'm just breaking ground on it. I'm 2B. Oh, that's all right. Hey, Brian, I was in your... Yeah, I know. Elise right there. I saw you were live. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I know. I cut off all the hair. It's all gone. Hair no more. Short hair Brian is back. So, I know, right? It's all... Wait, watch this. You ready? Oh, wait. Here we go. I love doing this trick. Wait. There we go. Hey everyone, welcome to Stat to One. How are you doing this morning right here? How's everyone doing? Everyone doing all right? I think I got something in my hair. Just 1 second, real quick here, everyone. Oh. I'm clicking the wrong buttons. It's the end of office hours. Rip long hair, Brian. Exactly. I've got another video that I keep meaning to edit. Chelsea and I, my fiance and I, made some fun videos with the long hair. So I don't know. I did that for my students like the first day where I cut my hair. Preston says superb. We had some fun recording stuff. Let's take a look at 2B right here. I don't know. I like that video. It's fun stuff. Let's go take a look at it. Elise, I hope you're doing well and hope you're having some fun. The long hair will return. It will just take like another year. It was getting it was like on my shoulders. Nothing wrong with that. It was getting crazy. I was just like, oh my God. I was kind of now I'm short hair, Brian. I like it. I don't know. It's just weird. It's like I barely remember having long hair now, and I had it for months. It's what happens when a pandemic happens. Let's go take a look at 2B. And I hope everyone's summer is going great. Consider the sequence. You're welcome. Yes, thank you so much, Elise. I hope you're having a great summer and doing well. I just like that people swing by here just say, hey, that means a lot to me. We're all about that positivity. I'm gonna throw out 20 points. Random students come by. Tell all your friends who are in Stat to One. I'm not like joking, but like I like to throw out points when students come by. So, the points just go crazy in class. And so Preston's out there earning some points. Let's go ahead and take a look at 2B, Preston. Let's talk over it. You ready? Here we go. Okay, so for 2B, it says, what is the 11th element of a sequence that starts with 2.1, goes up by increments of 0.5, and looks like this? Okay, so I'm going to translate this here, and I hit this button right here to kind of go to a preview mode. So this button right here goes into preview mode. Let's turn this into tasks. 1, build a sequence that starts at 2.1, that goes from 2.1 to a large number by 0.5. Okay. It doesn't have to be too crazy large. Okay, we want a sequence. So Preston, try to do this right here. Okay. Ah! Can we color things? No. Or when are you going to get all the capabilities? It doesn't have to be able to color things. I can do the heading stuff. I don't want that. So try this right here. Build a sequence that goes from 1 to goes from 2.1 to a large number. It didn't have to be crazy. By 0.5. Try that step right there. Build a sequence, or like. What is it? It doesn't show me the quick test for that. So build a sequence that goes from 2.1 to a large number by 0.5. How are we going to do that task right here? So try that right there, Preston. Build a sequence. And whatever you have, don't worry. Just put it in and be like, let's see if this works right here. Build a sequence that goes from 2.1 to a large number. We need to have at least 11 elements in the sequence by 0.5. Great job, Preston. Excellent work right there. That's another 20 points. like giving out some points. Practice in the chat. Excellent work, Preston. And those are the first 3 arguments right there. When you make a sequence right here, the order for the default order for these, real big thing you see right there, are from equals to. You can actually just do it. You don't have to worry about the multiple. You can actually just do that. It'll stop at it'll just stop at a number before the sequence ends, which you're fine to put this too. 100% fine. It'll just go to that number. So you don't have to worry about, like, did I make my sequence the correct, like, since it's a 0.5, is it going to go properly? You can just see behind me right there, the last number is there, versus if you just do 100, it'll stop before it gets to 101. It'll just end the sequence right there at 100, before 100.1. So now we have this sequence on the screen. The last task right here is just what is in position 11. So I want you to show me how to find position 11, and then we're just going to tag this onto here. So we're just going to find position 11 and tag this on, and you'll have written all the code. So if you can just show me how to find position 11, and then we'll just tag that on to the end of it, you can actually go look at the answer. The answer for it's going to be right over here on the side of the screen. It's going to be that. You can see because position 12 is right here and position 11 is right here, and the answer is a little bit over here on how to do it. Boom, you got it, Preston. Look at this. There we go right there. That's the answer. Preston, just great job there. That's the answer to the code. Your answer works perfectly fine up here too, to do it this way. Everything works great. Is that making more sense there, Preston? Is that like, okay. Just try to do it in little parts, little bits, where you build the sequence and then you find out position 11. Yep, Trace, you got a question? Feel free to ask. As long as people are like, I mean, if it went for 5 hours, I'd eventually be like, I have to go. There's Pokemon tickets for the event exclusive community day. If it went for a very long time, I'd eventually be like, I have to go. But right now we're fine. I don't mind. We've been going for an hour 20. Hour 20. We got office hours every day. This is what we do. It's Friday, assignment due. I don't mind going for an hour 30, 2 hours. We'll see what happens. If like there's no questions, I'll eventually be like, well, that's a good job. We got it. Well, what question do you have right now? I mailed you about it. Second question. Okay. Yeah. Let me, if you want to drop it in the chat, I'll take a look right here. As long as we're here in office hours, I'm good to go. So, and it helps out other people. Like, it's a big help. Put on the music. I got like the same 3 songs. We'll take a look at Trace's question right here. Question is, 4E and 4F, why can't you use which for 4E? I bet we could use which. I bet we could do a way of doing which for 4E. Let's go ahead and take a look at that 4E. 4E says... Okay. I think we can do this. Let's take a look. What is the largest value of area code column? I'm going to add in a chunk right here. You haven't seen me do this yet. This is the add chunk button. You can add a chunk, so I just want to be able to see the question and code it. So this is the add chunk, and you can see right here, this is an R chunk, which is where I have code. Trace has this right here, and this might work. Well, this is going to get you the maximum value. Okay, so this... Actually, I think this works. This should work. What is the largest value of area code column? There are NAs, so you'll have to add a certain argument to the max to ignore them. Yeah, that looks to be right. 999. Is that really an area code? I don't know. I mean, it's 3 digits. I think that's it. The reason you have to add the NA equals true is because these functions will return NA, because if there's missingness, they'll kind of let you know that. So in the alumni code area vector, there is missingness, and because... Oh, what's she doing? No blank on there. Oh, wait, what? What is going... Oh, it's running max. I thought I was just highlighting that code. 2 seconds. I want to run this. Hey, there we go. So you would not use which since you don't need to... Correct. Which returns positions... So you could say which people returned this area code. This is not the answer anymore. Like, we're changing the question, like, which people have the max area code? So if you want to know which people have the max area code, you're going to go right here and go which. And... Okay, wait. Oh my gosh. What is going on? Maybe it's the way the preview works. Oh, because the NAs. Because the NAs. We need the NA remove equals true on. Oh, okay. It's not illogical right now. I'm going crazy. This is not the question. There we go. These are the people who have area code 999 because I'm checking the alumni code area code vector to see if it's equal to the maximum of the alumni code area code vector. These are the people with 999 area code, and we could subset it and stuff like that to make sense. But these would be the individuals who have the area codes. So if you look at the code, alumni area code is logically equal to the maximum of the vector alumni area code return the positions that meet this condition. Does that make sense right here, Trace, as I read this? We are checking the condition alumni area code is equal to the maximum of the alumni area code vector, and we're returning back the positions in the vector that meet the condition. These are the positions of individuals that have an alumni area code equal to the maximum, which is 999. And yeah, hopefully this is a more complicated question right here. Yeah. So if this code's making sense, you're doing great in the class because I just made it into a which and went beyond what the question asked. So really good questions right there. But this is not the answer. Please, just so I can see right here. Someone's copying that down. I'm afraid people are going to put wrong answers because they'll just like scroll through the video and be like, what's the answer? This is the answer. So I'm not trying to like drop too many answers, but that's the answer. Let's look at the other one real quick. But these conversations are important right here, and then kind of going above and beyond and seeing what's going on with the code is important too. For 4F, and then let's look at what 4F says. 4F says, which row? This one's pretty cool. I like this. You ready? 4F, let's look at which row. Sounds like I'm saying rut row. Which row? So I'm going to add a chunk here again just so I can code right below it. You can actually name these chunks. If you go here to like 4F, it'll actually appear in your scroll window. I thought it would. Did I not do that properly? Oh, I need to maybe go to Q4F. You going to appear down here? What? I could have swore. Well, there's Q4F. Now will it appear? Whoa. That's weird. Huh, I don't like that. If you notice right here, chunk 8 is Q4F. I have no idea why it's not appearing. It will appear if I do it right here. But in this preview mode, maybe it's because these are like sub-indented chunks. Yeah, that's what it is. Oh, man. That's a sub-indented chunk. Huh. Well, I never knew these things. There's something I learned right there. It's a sub-indented chunk does not appear in this new preview window. I'm kind of new to this whole preview window thing. But yes, well, it is appearing here now in my drop-down menu of kind of quick access to go through things and just kind of blink to them really quickly. So which row contains the maximum value? The row that contains the maximum value can be found quite a few different ways. One, we can go here to the max of lifetime gift to UT. It's in the alumni data frame. And lifetime gift to UT maximum is, wait for it, NA. Oh, no, there's no, oh, well, then we don't have NAs, so we don't have to use the remove NA. I thought it was going to be there, but it's not. If you were to do NA remove equals true, which I wish it was just the default for NA remove, it's not. You'll get the same value. It'll remove NAs, but I just think they want you to know if NAs are there. That's why it's set to false usually. So in some instances, which max exactly? And yep, that's the quick way to do it. Yep, I'm gonna take Trace's code right here. I'm gonna do it. I was doing it the long way here, and then I'm gonna do it the quick way. Yeah, let's do 4C. You got it. Definitely. I cannot select code right now. Sure. I'm just gonna take the rest of that, and then I'll make the rest of it a comment. Look at that. Comment it out. So that is the row. Here's the maximum value. But what if we took and we went to alumni? This is the long way of doing it. And we went to lifetime gift to UT. And we did is equal to the maximum. And then we found out which person this is. So that's the long way. Here's Trace's way. Great way of doing it. And this is the way I would do it. Very, very similar to Trace's way. Which max tells you the position of the match. It's a logical check to find which position the max is in. And I'm going to do it very similar to Trace's way, but I'm going to go to the vector. Totally fine the way you're doing a trace. It's just you and I, you're using the data frame, pulling the column from the data frame. I'm going to the vector inside the data frame. So our ways are virtually identical right here, but you could also use a logical check to find out which value in the vector. So you're just doing a which max, but doing the longer way. You don't need this NA remove equals true right here because there are no NAs. You can put it in there just in case you need it. Let's do 4C. Okay, what's 4C say? 4C. Wait. I'm losing track. Is it gender codes? We got this. Let's do it. Okay, let me decrease font size. Here we go. Let's hop back to the main screen. Okay, so for this one, we want to first, let's write some tasks down here. You ready? Here's task 1. Make a vector of the values we want and label and save it as interest. So I'm not going to put quotes around that. You got to watch out. So make a vector of the values we want and save it as interest. Okay, try doing that right here, William. Take these values. I'll put them right here in the chat for you. And I want you to save this as interest. So this is our first step. The reason we don't like put these direct steps on here, I would say, is because if someone's going to tell you what to do, they won't maybe tell you the steps like this. We have to break it into steps in our own head, because when we're working with data, our people we're working with are not going to say, first we want to make a vector of the values we're interested in. We'd have to be like, we have to think up these ways ourselves. And it helps to break it into smaller parts and say like, okay, I want da 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 da. And the smaller the parts, the easier it is to take in and solve the answer for. So let's first make a vector of the values we are interested in. So start thinking of the code to make a vector, put those values in the vector, and then store it into something called interest. So if you heard what I said right there, we want to make a vector. You know, try to make a vector with things in it. And then we want to put those values inside of it, and then we want to store it into interest. Ah, what's up, Cora? Was just scrolling YouTube and saw it. Oh, so good, Cora, 20 points. Everyone is, I love it. Everyone's like shocked by the hair, but it's been about a week, 2 weeks now. Great job right there, William. I'm just shocking people with the hair. I know it's all short right now. Give it time, it'll grow back out, I promise. Step 1 complete. Good to see you here, Cora. Thank you for swinging by. I got some 20 points right there, Cora. It really means a lot to me that former student. I mean this, like former students swinging by makes me smile because it's just nice to like see people. Cora, which did you take 320, Cora? If you took 320, offer them some. I'm trying to think if you're 320. I think you're 320, right? I'm pretty sure. Last semester 320. Tell me if I'm wrong. It's so much easier when I see people in person to be like, yes, I remember you sitting in that chair in this class, but I sit here in this same chair when I teach. So I'm like, it's hard to create the memories of like what class someone is in. Of course, I remember your name, Cora, and it's just harder to create memories as I teach online, which is not as fun. I took 320, yes, exactly. And I'm taking another one in the fall. I can't remember the name, probably 474, 475. Cora, and I thought you were a 320 student. Do you have any advice for the 320 students who are watching right now about like coding in R? Like, had you ever coded in R? Did it get easier? Like, throw them some advice while we work on this problem right here. I would love that. That'd be like, just offer them your advice about like, hey, it's impossible. No. If it is impossible, just tell them that. Let's go now. Go to the alumni data set. Let me say a set. Find the vector. Gender code, and return only the positions we are interested in. Okay, let's just wait. Let's do this. Go to and find the vector gender code. Okay, how do we do this? How do we find this right here, William? How do we go to the alumni data set and just find the vector gender code? I had not coded before, but my number one advice be to ask every question, even if they are tiny, because it makes exactly so much. Yeah, we'll do 4B next. You got it, Ben. Definitely. Definitely. No worries. We redo stuff. We practice. It's all about that practice, and then I try to do it different ways. I think William just solved it. William's got the 2 steps right here. I was going to do a 3rd step right here, but William jumped ahead. Great job, William, right there. We'll give some 20 points for that right there. William went ahead and solved the rest of it. So I was doing a step where we're going to look at the alumni gender code vector. And so there's the alumni gender code vector. Oh, I must have deleted it. Did I delete it again today? There we go. Maybe I did delete it again. I don't know what I'm doing. And then we would go here to the things we're interested in. And there's the ones we're interested in, which is the vector here. It's the same thing as taking this and doing this. You know, just break it. Break the code. There we go. Yep. So is that making more sense right there? Like I like that right there. Like, oh, I see. It's like, and then I would say right here, step 3. And thank you so much, Cora, for the advice right there. Just ask every question you have. Like whenever you're stuck, just be like, how do I do this? And then like as William says right there, it's like, oh, I see it. I get it. And then return only the values in the vector. Obviously don't put the notes and everything I'm putting right here. But this right here is step 1. This right here is step 2. Do not print this out. I'm going to hashtag it just in case someone copies that. And so we won't knit, and that's step 3. So that'll print out only those values. I purposely hashtagged this. Please be careful writing down everything I write down. 4D, when you use the tail, can you do... And so it does 6 by default. And what does 4D say again? 4D says... Wait, where the heck is 4D? How'd I lose it? Where 4D? Wait, why is this jumping around? I might need to re-download this. Oh, it's redoing the numbers. Ooh. 2 seconds. Rewind in time right here. It's redoing my numbers. Is 4... Okay, cool. Printer screen the last 6 entries in area code. Yep. For 4D, when you use tail, can n equals... Do n equals 6 for the argument. Yep. The red X to the left of the code lines. Should I care about them? Send me the code. Those means you have an error. And let's take a look here at 4B for Ben. Here, let's turn on a little music. Let's take a look at 4B. Let's put a little break in the video. Hopefully, by putting in these chunks right here, I'm changing the numbers sometimes. Oh, it's because I sub-indented, I think. I changed the sub-indent. And it was like, oh, you want to start over the numbering? No, I don't want to start over the numbering, so I've redone this. What % of alumni have donated? 2 ways to approach this. Yep. Let's take a look at 4B. First thing I want to do right here is just take a look at the donation vector. Who can tell me how to take a look at the donation vector? I just want to take a look at the donation vector. Step 1, look at the donation. Maybe it was this. Oh. Look at the donation vector. Step 1, look at the donation vector. Step 2, find out who has donated more than 0. Step 3, find the average, since true/falses are 1s and 0s. So first thing we want to do is just look at the donation vector. Just take a look at it. Great job, Trace, right there. Let's just look at that vector. Okay, so that's step 1. Look at the donation vector. Okay, let's take a look at it. Cool, there's a bunch of donations. Step 2 is to find out who's donated more than 0. Please do not turn that in. Do not turn that in. Whenever I hover, it says expected after expression. Can you paste the code in here, Preston? Paste the whole code and I'll take a look. I'll find out what the problem is. Paste the whole code and I'll take a look. Great work, everyone, today. Lots of hard work. I'll be labeling the videos later and everything. So how are we going to find out who's donated more than 0? How do we find out who has donated more than 0? So now we want to do a logical check. Remember, we can just test every value, because whatever we do logically here, it'll do it on every value in the data set. So this person should not, we don't want to return that they have donated more than 0. It's because it's saying not how many, right? It's saying what percentage. So we want to find out first who has donated more than 0. Don't do too many steps. Just think, okay, who has donated more than 0? Yep. Great job, Ben. Excellent work, Ben. 20 points right there. Thank you, Ben. Asked the question. Ben's answering the questions. Love it. Excellent work, Ben, right there. We're going to throw in right here greater than 0. And take a look at... Oh, you've got a parentheses at the start of it. I think that should fix it right there, Preston. I think you have an open parentheses at the end, and I think that's what it's mad about. So take that open parentheses off the start of it, because it sees something open, and it's like, where does that close? So that should fix it. I hope. And then all we're going to do right now with these trues and falses, because they're ones and zeros, is you can just find out the average amount from this. So the two ways to do the final step, the quick way is to take the mean of the vector, and there's the percent of people who have donated, or you could find out where these people are at. These are the people who have donated, like person in row 1,557 has donated, and you could find out the length of the donation vector of the positions of people who have donated, which will give us the same. Oh, wait. Or you could find out them. Oh my gosh, this would be crazy. I would not suggest this way. Yeah, that's not fun. That's not that fun right there. The more code you have to write, the less fun you have. I mean, writing a lot of code can be fun, but if you can get something done like this. So you see, I had to find out. I'm trying to think if there's another way. I mean, there's a billion ways to do it, but I'm trying to think of like a better way. Like this is the way I would support right here for the third step. This gets you to the same answer because you are finding out the positions of the people who have donated, the length of the position vector, which is how many people have donated, and then you're dividing by how many observations there are. So that's telling you a percent. Or you could just take and find out the percent of the vector that is true, like much quicker. Is that making more sense right there? And Preston, did it get fixed up? We'll hop back here to space. How's everyone doing on this? Let's go over here to Celeste. A little Celeste music. Not really Celeste music. Great video game right there, Celeste. Climbing up the mountain. I think that's got it. Max. Yeah, I think that works, right? 4-H? Yeah, let's do some 4-H next. I think so, right? Don't put this down for this one. Why you copy that right there? Yep, that's looking good. Send me your .rmd and I can take a look if it's still doing it. Send me the .rmd. I also probably need to tell people, like, whenever you have an issue, send me your .rmd and a picture of the issue, because I'm trying to think. I think one person in the chat and I were talking via email. When I have the .rmd, it's so much easier for me to like click around and change stuff. If someone says like, "Here's my code," and it's like, it's just harder. And don't worry, people probably didn't know that before. Like right now, obviously, put in the chat right here. This is what I have for H, but I do not believe I did it correctly. Like, cool, let's grab this. Like right now, just put it in the chat and let's go take a look and let's do this. We're gonna go. Once again, I do this so there's breaks in the videos. I get to just go here and chill for a moment. 4H says, what fraction have values between... you might be right. You might be right. Let's find out. Only one way to know is to check it. Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay, let's do this. Drop in the code. Maybe. I'm going to break it apart into smaller parts. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at 4H right here. What fraction, a number between 0 and 1 of alumni have lifetime gifts to UT between this and this amount? So first thing, let's write two conditions. First, who has donated more than, who has donated at least 100? Who has donated at or less than 1,000? Start writing these codes. Put both of these together. And then what is the average of this vector? What is the average amount of trues? Because trues are ones and zeros. So let me see right here. Which we don't use the which yet. We don't use the which. I wouldn't use a which yet. So oh yeah, like who has donated? You are correct. That would be a who. So let me rephrase it, because that is correct. The way I've phrased it does make it sound like a who, like which ones. Okay. There we go. This is better. Great Trace, 20 points right there. I think the way I phrased it alluded to a which, like which individuals do this account for. 20 points Trace right there. Has someone donated at or less someone? Yeah. So changing my wording right here because I wasn't very exact. And then we'll take a look at your answer here in a second. These are the steps I would use right here. So has someone donated at least $100? So has someone donated at least $100, which actually you have right here. So you have this condition, which is has someone donated at least $100? And then you also have the second condition right here, has someone donated at or less than 1,000? Then we're going to take and join these together with an and. So when I see true right here, by seeing true, I know that they meet both these conditions. They have donated at or more than $100. They've donated less than or equal to $1,000. All of these trues. Now we're only one step away. Now you could go way more complex on this, but we're only one step away because we can take a logical vector and find out what % of people meet the conditions. So do you see it, Trace? We're only one step away right now. We're 6 characters away. You got it, Trace. Great job. We can just take the mean of a logical vector. And was your answer correct? Your answer looks to be a little different right here. You're taking the length of alumni and dividing by the length of your logicals. These are the positions. Why would this return a... Wait. What's that doing? There's that. What is going on? But length of an alumni should be longer than that. Oh my. I think this preview editor... Oh my gosh. I think it doesn't quite run code the same way. Oh, length of alumni is getting you how many columns there are. The length. I know. What's up, Colin? Hey, congratulations on Disney. I got so behind on LinkedIn. I was on LinkedIn last night and I liked some of the posts. Huge congratulations. I saw Riley congratulated you. I just wanted to like shout out everybody, and I'm always like I want to be super professional on LinkedIn, but such great. Yeah, did you tell me that you got it? Like, I know you were going through the rounds of interviews. Everything's been going so quick with Mayterm, but everyone, feel free to say in the chat, Colin just got internship at Disney. What exactly did Colin? Feel free to say it. But I was looking on LinkedIn later last night, and I just liked the post, and I wanted to write something really nice. And I don't know. Sometimes I don't want it to seem like it's for me, but that is so awesome, and I was so happy to see Riley posting on that too. You start next Monday, project analyst internship with Disney gift cards. That is so cool. That is so cool. And I know it's like your dream to work at Disney. Colin had his Disney name tag that he wore, because where it has him College of Business, Disney's a big business. And, being like, I worked for this company. I want to work for this company. I'm out here, representing this company, and Colin's got... You know what I'm talking about, Colin. You know what I'm talking about right here with the bow tie. So I'm really proud of you. Excellent work. And I know you'll go on to do great. I know you're continuing down that line of excellence. So this is my post to you on LinkedIn right here. I was like, I hit the likes on it last night, and I was like, I want to write something really nice, but I don't know. And I feel bad because I'm behind on this. I think you posted it like 6 or 7 days, or 4 days ago. I think it was 4 days ago. So that's 4 day was, I guess, start of this week you found out maybe end of last week, started this week. But I was really proud when I saw that. I don't know. Sometimes late at night I'll just scan down LinkedIn, and then I'm like, do I post something? Oh, thank you so much. Yes. No, Colin, we need to set some stuff up. I've got so many people in so many groups that want to work with, and we just solved this one right here. We just solved this problem right here. I've got a bunch of people in a bunch of groups that want to come and speak to the class. I want to get Pepsi back in to talk to students if students are looking for internships. One of my students is working for Pepsi right now on an internship. Pepsi's a great company to work for. Pepsi, Frito-Lay, a lot of great companies, and we try to make those connections, further those connections, so that we'd be honored if somebody in the future went and worked for Disney too. And I was just so happy to see Riley commenting on that, because I still remember Riley in my office when you guys, I might have met a long time ago in my office when, I don't know if you knew each other before that, but I know she was in my office talking about Disney one time, and then I think you might have been in there too. We'll hop back to space right here. Hop back over to space. But no, Congratulations and great work. It's really just these companies just want people who are interested in learning. One of my advice to students is like, it's not about making all A's. It's about being passionate. That's what Andrew was in here earlier saying, is that you don't have to be there making all A's. We did. I spoke to her today, actually. we will figure something out soon and we'll be in touch. That'd be amazing. Like maybe you and Riley could both come and speak, especially talking about what like analytics Disney does and stuff like that. That'd be really cool. It's not about making A's in every class. I mean, it's great to make A's. A's are a good thing. But it's about finding what you're passionate about and being like, I like doing this. And for some people, that'd be business analytics. I've had people leave this major. I've had people join this major. That's perfectly fine. Just find what you like. Just be like, I like solving problems. If you get a rush of like endorphins when you get something right and when your code runs, anyone in chat, is that you? When your code runs, are you like, yeah? Like, that's what I get. When a code runs and it works and it's like, it all comes together, I'm like, yes. Or like, as I'm building something and I'm watching it create, that's when you get excited. And who was it earlier today in class? It was RL. RL was talking about what he was learning with dplyr, and I forgot to tell him that we're doing some tidyverse in 475. So RL had some really good advice, and geology department and microbiology, shout outs to them doing some cool stuff in R. So big shout outs to those departments. I'm probably going to go eat some lunch here soon, but great job, everybody. Any last questions? Anything anyone wants to know while Brian goes and makes some lunch right here and goes and catches all the Pokemon? Congratulations to Colin, Trace, and Ben and everybody. Great seeing you here. Preston, great seeing you. William, Charles, Andrew, Taylor, Michaela. So many people swung by Office Hours today. Awesome. And 201, you're always welcome here. 201's starting to have their assignments come in. You too, Trace. Thank you. And great work. There's a bunch of work. We got this, Joe. Little bits. Just when you get stuck, email me. Anyways, we'll head off here. I'm going to go eat some lunch and talk to everyone later. Bye for now. Bye. Bye for now. Bye, Puppet Shark.